Hello and welcome back to City Skylines. So ladies and gentlemen, today is part 24 of our vanilla Let's Play. And we are right here in the middle of the district that we constructed in the last episode. And things are going better than they were at the end of that episode because the death wave is finally clearing up. And I actually did a little bit of research into City Skylines between part 23 and this part 24. It turns out that abandoned buildings, as we just saw, actually automatically bulldoze in City Skylines after a certain period of time has passed in the game. And that period of time is a minimum of 4 weeks. So, as we just saw, an abandoned building got demolished and then reconstructed as another hotel, and a building just in the background there has just gone abandoned, so within about 4 weeks of game time, not real time, that building will also be demolished and then reconstructed if there is the demand for some commercial zoning. So what that means is this area didn't take anywhere near as long to fill out as I thought it would, and I'm actually really glad. It also means that I didn't have to go through the city and bulldoze every single abandoned building. Now, there are still a few of them, you know, just out here and a few over this way, but they will eventually clear up as well, so the only buildings that we need to worry about bulldozing are buildings which have burnt down. So this guy here needs bulldozed. There's nothing that will happen unless I bulldoze this lot. So we get rid of that, and a new house should pop up fairly soon because we have a fairly decent bit of residential demand. There is high demand for residential zoning, which is beautiful news because it means that we can continue to expand the city, which is exactly what I would like to do. I'm just not really sure what way I should do that, because as much as I want to expand the city, I kind of also want to look into these. I think getting the fusion power plant would be a really good idea, as well as the medical center and the Hadron Collider, because the fusion power plant will give us pretty much unlimited electricity. The medical center takes care of everyone's health, and the Hadron Collider deals with education across the entire city as well. Now, obviously, those things mean that the school that we have here, or the hospital that we have here, sort of get invalidated. We don't really need those anymore, but I will keep those anyway because I think they look quite nice. And what I'm thinking is that the fusion reactor would actually look kind of cool in this space if we maybe went ahead and got rid of the nuclear plants, which, I mean, I like them, but they just seem a little bit out of place. I like the way the cooling towers are back-to-back like that, but let's be honest, there probably wouldn't be nuclear plants in the middle of a city like this. So, the fusion reactor, which is obviously safer, I may be joking, I may be being slightly sarcastic, is, you know, what I think we should put in here. So, let's take a little bit of a look and see what we need for this. Currently, we need the tax office. Now, getting the tax office is actually kind of easy, because the tax office is, number one, I think kind of cheap. It is, yeah, $18,000, and is a fairly small building as well. In fact, it's small enough that it would fit in that plot there. So, maybe we get rid of this elementary school, which isn't the best thing to do, but we'll get rid of the elementary school, and we're going to get ourselves a little tax office in there. Because it is a nice looking little building. It looks a little bit out of place. It's, I look at that and it immediately looks much more American than these European buildings here, but I think we'll keep it anyway. I think it does the job, and it is one step closer to getting the fusion power plant, which now requires the observatory. Now, the observatory is here. And this is where I get to have a little bit of fun, because the observatory, I obviously don't want to put just, you know, down here in the city. That wouldn't really make sense. We do have this bit of land up here, which I think would be a brilliant place to put the observatory. It'll be a little bit tricky to get, you know, up to the observatory through, you know, a road here, but I think what I might do is just put a bit of a dirt road leading up to it, and then put some trees around it. I think that could work. So let's get ourselves a bit of a dirt road here, a bit of a gravel road, and let's just place the road there. Something a bit like, maybe closer to the edge. No, I don't know. It doesn't really need to be close to the edge, but I think it might look better if it was. So let's see about flattening out the terrain up here. Just a little bit. In fact, we'll knock the strength of this up so we can go right out to the edge. So something about like that. A nice, big, flat section of land at the top of this hill should really be all we need. And then if I smooth... Oh, no, that's gone a bit weird. Let's see if we can perhaps lower that a little bit and make it look a bit more rough, because I kind of want it to still look kind of decent up here. So I think that kind of works. Gives us a nice sort of flat plane to put the observatory on, and we'll go ahead and get the road, and it can go sort of like that, I think. Now, as for the observatory itself, it is actually going to be facing over the city, which I'm kind of okay with. I mean, if you look at it from down here, we can get a nice view of it. I think it looks all right, to be honest. I mean, it's difficult to see from here. I'll go into the cinematic camera, yeah. It looks pretty good. I like that. I think a couple of trees around it and a nice little dirt path going up the hill here could just sell that observatory quite nicely. So let's see. Let's first off get the gravel path to sort of loop around a little bit. So something like that. And then go straight a little bit. Kind of like... Well, do we want to go straight a little bit or... Yeah, we might as well. Let's do that. And we'll curve like that. And then head straight back over here and link those together. And then the path that goes down the mountain can come out of that bit. So I think that looks alright. I might move the observatory just over one little bit, so it's a bit more central. Or, if I could only get it in there, that'd be good. I am realizing, of course, that the observatory has paved areas around it there, so maybe, just maybe, we could... Well, actually, you know what we could do? We could turn this into a highway road, so that it's still clearly paved, but it does look like less of a, I guess, you know, structure. It doesn't have footpaths on it, and I think that's something that it probably shouldn't have, so... I mean, that kind of works. I think that's pretty good. As for the way up here, it's just gonna be dirt. Because there's no, I guess, sidewalkless road like this. So this works. Now let's figure out how exactly I am gonna get a dirt road up here. I'm pretty sure dirt roads are a little bit more... Wait, that's not actually connected to a road, is it? Oh no, that's interesting. Okay, so maybe we do have to go with something like this. Which I guess is okay. I guess this area might be paved, I suppose. It'll do. We'll go with that. Now here's the question. Can dirt roads, by any chance, break the laws of physics? Because I'm pretty sure in City Skylines they kind of can. Yeah. So that's a bit steep, is what I'm thinking. So maybe we don't want to do that. Let's see if we can just get ourselves a narrow little space to sort of just go up the hill. So from like there to about this point. Now we need to knock the strength up, obviously. So again, from about there, like this. So something like this should give us a nice little pathway for that dirt road to follow. That might still actually be real steep. It's less steep, that's for sure. That's a little bit better, I think. So we'll sort of do this and just try and smooth this out a bit. That's not really ideal. Come on, just work with me. There we go. So that looks all right. That sort of is a bit less ridiculous than what we had. So the little dirt road can just sort of weave down the hill a little bit like that. So that is all right. Better than what we had. Now what it needs to do is kind of just come down. I think it needs to go down here. I don't think we can turn it and have it come down this bit. I think that'd be way too steep. So from here, that's the height we want to go to from like that point. So let's just keep going up and keep going up. And we'll try it again, just like this. We'll just keep on rising up like so. And hopefully, I can get myself a little dirt road on that, and it's not going to be too ridiculously steep. That's the plan, anyway. So let's have a look. What kind of... That looks alright! I'm actually really happy with that. That actually kind of worked. Alright, so let's just have the dirt road sort of curve a little bit like that. And then just go straight down here. Look at that, that's beautiful! It's still quite steep, admittedly, but It's not as steep as it once was. That's all right. Let's sort of curve it down this way a bit. I can smooth that out. I can totally smooth that out. We'll bring it sort of over this way. And then sort of through the little area of trees just there. It can meet up with that. And then connect like that. So there is a level crossing. Which I think is reasonable. I think I'll also just do a bit of a paved road there. Up to about that point. Then it turns into a dirt road. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I do want to just... I think this area could do with being smoothed out a little bit. I do think that we need to smooth out a lot of the terrain here as well, just to make that a bit nicer looking, because it does look a little bit nasty. So maybe we sort of raise the terrain up a little bit like that. And that kind of hides the... hides our sins, I guess. Do something similar on that side where we lower the terrain a bit. And then just gently, gently, gently smooth it out. And I like it. I do. Now all I need to do is get a bunch of trees in there, and we are sorted. Now can I just raise some of the terrain there? I'll lower a bit down here, so I have some more soil to work with. And that looks alright to me. If I smooth that out, I think we have ourselves a nice little, little space for that dirt road to exist. I really, really like that. I'm so pleased. I know it's dumb and it's really simple, but I'm just glad we got this beautiful little slope in there. Alright, so this thing needs electricity. What I'm thinking is we probably want to go for a wind turbine. I don't really think it makes all that much sense to go ahead and, you know, run some cables up here. We could do a dedicated solar power plant. Like, that would be kind of interesting to have up here as well. So maybe we do that. I do think I also want to just make these roads sort of square rather than having the rounded ones that we had there. So do that and that. And that looks all right. Now, do we want a dedicated solar plant? I don't think it's the worst idea in the world. I mean, it's never gonna go nighttime in my game unless I do enable the day-night cycle, which I don't really plan on doing at the moment. I know some people want to see the day-night cycle. I just don't really have any plans on enabling it just yet. I will eventually, before we wrap things up with this series, which may be, you know, a long time from now based on the question that I asked at the end of the last episode, but I don't really see me, you know, I don't see me keeping the day-night cycle switched on, is what I'm trying to say. What I think I'll do is I will just go ahead and add a wind turbine sort of on the side of the hill. Just like that. So it's not really going to be blocking the observatory. Although I don't think I like it there. I think I actually kind of like the idea of the wind turbine being a little further down the hill. But then it doesn't connect is the problem. So somewhere like that kind of works. I think that is a bit better. You know, just a bit further down the hill. Powering the observatory, which does need water, and obviously to give it water, we are going to need to just, you know, run a pipe up to the top of the hill, which we can do. Just like that. So this thing is now functioning, which is beautiful news. I am curious to see if anyone's driving up here. I sort of have my doubts, but it would look pretty cool to see someone driving up there. I do also think I absolutely need to get some trees along that road to make it look a little bit less weird. So let's go ahead and do that. I know that the view is blocked by the observatory, but that's beautiful. Just that gap of space between the tree and the observatory where you can see the suburbs and then the city and the mountains. Oh, this game is so pretty. Especially consider, this sounds like I'm going off on one about how great I am. I'm sorry, it's not supposed to sound like that, but I'm just blown away because I never played Vanilla City Skylines remotely creatively. I never played it to make things look good, and I'm sort of doing that now, and it's weird because I never thought that this was something that you could actually do, but that's beautiful. So as you can see, I've gone ahead and added a whole bunch of trees going up the mountain here. I've added some to the side as well, just to make it look like they're not exclusive to the little road there. And I think that's helped to sell the look of the observatory going up the hill there. There is the occasional vehicle uses that road, which makes me very, very happy indeed. Because, you know, it makes it look like people actually work up there. What I'm thinking I am going to do is I'm going to just very quickly change these roads to not have the grass around them, because that way people can actually park on these roads. So on occasion, we will actually see vehicles up here, which I think is pretty cool, such as that one. So when people come to visit the observatory, they will park outside and you'll actually see their car, and I really like that. I think that's pretty cool. I am tempted, however, to make this a one-way road, which, to be honest, I think would be a pretty good idea, because that way traffic sort of flows around here in the way that it absolutely should, so it goes to the right. So that way, you know, traffic just flows a bit quicker, I guess. This guy here is going to park at the observatory. That's a family going to park at the observatory there. Look at that. I love that. That's so cool. It really is. I am ever so slightly tempted to go ahead and add some kind of park up here, but unfortunately there's not really anything I could add without it looking a bit strange. So I don't think we'll worry too much about that. Anyway, what else do we need for the fusion power plant? We need the Fountain of Life and Death. Okay. Well, the Fountain of Life and Death is that one, which, no, wait, that's not it. That is the Plaza of the Dead. That's Lazaret Plaza. That's the Fountain of Life and Death. Okay, I know exactly where this is going. And it's going just over here. Because between episodes, I may have added a whole bunch of crematoriums, because I wanted to make sure that death waves weren't too damaging. So the Fountain of Life and Death, I feel could fit in there real nicely. I will need to move this firehouse first. So let's just... we'll chuck it over there. Then the Fountain of Life and Death can not actually go central, which annoys the hell out of me. So it's gonna go in that square. Beautiful. That seems like such a waste. That really does. That's a really nice fountain for such a crap area. What about over here somewhere? We have these squares here, but it doesn't really fill it up perfectly. There is this little space here that it might fill up. I guess we can take a look. It doesn't fill that up perfectly either, but I'm gonna let it happen. I'm gonna let that exist in that space, because I think it's a much nicer use of that particular park as opposed to putting it in an industrial area. So it can live there, and I will just put some zoning back in here. Just like that. We'll move this guy over to that old spot again, and get some zoning back in there. So now that that's been placed, what do we need? We need the Science Center. Ah, now the Science Center is a bit bigger. The Science Center is this, which is enormous. So what I think we might have to do is come into this space here, and I've decided that this is where the Expo Center, the Science Center, and the Aquarium are gonna live. Because, well, they could live over here as well, actually. No, wait, this space, no, I meant this space, actually. This is exactly where I meant. So that's what we're going to put in here. The Science Center and all that other stuff that I just listed off and have already forgotten. Ugh, good. Good job. All right. So let's go over like this. And go to about there, and then connect up like that, I think. Now, the zoning is a bit weird there, but this does give us a nice little connection down through the city, and does give us a decent little bit of room to play with. So, let's, I guess, place the buildings that we're going to be using here. So, we're going to place the Science Center, we're going to place the Aquarium, and we're going to place the Expo Center, which are three very big buildings, which actually look kind of strange here. So, maybe the Expo Center can go elsewhere, but these two I kind of want beside each other. So we'll pause the game for a second. Is that the last thing we needed? No, we also need the Modern Art Museum. Okay. Well, we'll get that eventually. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and run a bit of road along here that runs around like that. So basically, if traffic wants to go straight through, they can. But if it wants to go to these various facilities, it can also do that. What might actually be a better idea would be to do something a bit... Hold on a minute. If I did that and that, I can do a little diagonal there. Because we're fancy. Then if I just do this as well... Now, what this does is it means traffic can go in here and out here, and if it wants to go around, you know, there's this road here which will let it go both ways. So that's pretty good. That's what I want to see. Now, the aquarium, I think, should go in this corner. Because the aquarium is a very interesting looking building, and it looks to me like, I mean, I don't know where the entrance is, I'm going to be honest. It looks like it's on the sides, like those bits, so it's a weird looking building. That's what I'm getting at. The aquarium can live there, though. That seems good. As for the science center, there's not really much space left for it. Interestingly, it looks like the expo center, yeah, expo center fits in there fine, but it looks, that's way too much cramming for a bunch of buildings like this. So, maybe we don't double up this road. And maybe the aquarium lives on that corner. And then the science center can live sort of back there somewhere. That's always an option. Or just next to the aquarium. That is also an option. Let's do a road around the aquarium first. So something like this, just a one-way road, like that. And then I kind of want some plazas around it. Even though they are just plazas, I kind of want them because it's about as close to parking as we're going to get. So something a bit like that, and we'll delete you. Yeah, so that's not really going to let me do anything else in there, which is annoying. Now those aren't going to work either, are they? No. So that's unfortunate. Definitely unfortunate. Let's see. If I got rid of you guys, and I did that? Now that works. Which is surprising. So we'll do a couple of plazas like that. And then I guess I could do Japanese gardens in the corners? Not like anything else is going to fit, so a couple of Japanese gardens could go in there. Although I think I kind of want them to go that way and that way, leaving a bit of a gap here, which does look a bit strange, and even having the Japanese gardens may look a bit strange, but it just makes it look like there's just a little something more going on around the aquarium, which there needs to be. There absolutely needs to be, because, you know, there should be parking around these kind of things. You should definitely have parking around something like this, and if we can get a nice big flat area like this, it doesn't look like parking, but it looks like there's at least something going on, which there really should be, so that's what we've got here. Let's get rid of you. And I really want the science center to be at an angle. If I could get this... Oh, hold on a minute. Well, the science center... It doesn't go central, does it? Ah. Okay, so maybe the science center is going to go in its own area. Maybe the science center isn't going to go in here at all. I mean, the aquarium looks alright. Or, I mean, it could go in here. No, it couldn't. I'll put it over there for a second. The expo center could go in there. No, it couldn't. Good job. Well, I tried. I mean, it could sort of go in there. I don't know, this space needs something, is what I'm realizing. And I'm not really sure what that something's gonna be. I don't really know. Let's do a pathway, not pathway, a road like this. So we can fill this space up with something. We'll do that. And then what I want to do is maybe just block off this side of the road. I mean, I might as well. The zoning is a bit weird already. So if I do this, that blocks up zoning on that side of the road, giving us perfect zoning on that bit of road, which is exactly what I want to see. So something a bit like that. Although it probably shouldn't be in that old style, now that I look at it, so we'll figure that out in a second. As for this area, I reckon some offices just there, and then some commercial premises just there, will be pretty good. And then we could probably get a few more out here as well. I realize I've got completely sidetracked because we were supposed to be putting the science center in here, but we now have a nice aquarium, so I think I'm okay. Well, I have found a location for the science center to exist. It's close to the district that we built in the previous episode, and it fills in an area of the city that also needed to be filled in, so This is fine by me. We've got a little bit of office zoning that's going to build up, hopefully, along the train line there. That's where the road is sort of there to the right of the science center as well. And much like where we put the aquarium, the road in front of it is a one-way road. Now, something I am thinking we could probably do is go and do this and this so that we can get some parking around here as well. But also this, because that way, this one-way system allows traffic to sort of flow around a little bit. In fact, what might even be easier is make that one-way going up that way and then have this go one-way backwards. So traffic can loop around that circle if it really wants to, if it must, I suppose. So that way, you know, if they want to go to the science center, they do have to come in and turn and all that stuff, but I think that's okay. I think we can make that work. Anyway, we do absolutely need to get some more of those plazas in here. So let's grab a couple of those. I think I'll go for the longer ones. And we'll put just a couple of those on either side of the science center. I kind of want a few over here as well. Okay, I quite like this. I know, once again, it's fairly basic, but from above you do get the look of these big open spaces where traffic could maybe, you know, go to park. Obviously, you zoom in and you see that they couldn't park there, but I think that's all right. I do. I honestly think that's kind of okay. Now, what I would like to do is come in here with some trees and just sort of dot them about the place. I think I'm going to have to do them very specifically, though, so that it doesn't look like they are just completely overgrown and all over the place, because an area like this would be well kept. So a few trees like that, and a few trees just sort of along the back here. A bit like that, and a bit like that. Seems like a pretty good idea to me. As for the front bit, I think what I might do there is just line it with bushes, which is going to be an absolute pain to... that's not going to work. I was really hoping that would let me do it, but it's just the bushes, I'm placing them, and then they disappear because there's already technically a bush in that area, so... yeah, the game didn't really want to work with me on that. I think that looks okay, though. I could put maybe a rock sort of there. Then a couple of small rocks just over here. A bit like that. I think that looks alright. You know, it's something. Let's, a few more just here, and then put some bushes in and around that. There we go. Just a bit like that to make it look like there's some life amongst the rocks, and I like it. Okay, so that's the science center. There's a guy over here, a lot of people over here complaining they don't have water. I'm gonna get rid of the expo center for the time being, because I'm just not really gonna use it, and I can't help but notice that I might have... yeah, that's a one-way road. That's not supposed to be a one-way road, so there we go. That's that fixed. As for the fusion power plant, we still need the modern art museum. Now that I'm not going to spend forever, you know, making an area for, because I've spent a long time on a lot of areas, and I don't want to do that for every area. Now this is a bit more expensive, and I think, honestly, the modern art museum could probably go by the opera house, almost, if the slope wasn't too steep. It could obviously go into the tourism area as well, if only we had the space, which unfortunately we do. Hello. You're going right there. That is actually okay by me. I'm quite happy with that. I do want to just de-zone that strip of tourism, or, well, hotel zoning, I suppose, because I think a path through there could look pretty cool. And then some trees on either side of that, that pathway. I think that is an absolute must-have, because that just works perfectly. Look at it. It's a perfect size to go, you know, into that space. Bulldoze you, because you're kind of in the way, sir. And we'll put some trees on this... hold on a minute. Let me get rid of those darker trees. And go for these ones, because they're a bit light. No, those are the light ones there. Okay. So just get a bunch of these in here. Get one there. And there. And there. And get a bunch of them on this side as well. Just like that. There we go. I think that looks absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's obviously just thrown in there, but it looks absolutely beautiful anyway. As for this, it still needs the Plaza of the Dead, which, admittedly, I don't really know where I'm going to put that. No, I love how this looks. I really do. I'm really pleased with that. I also called it just the District VSC, Vanilla Science Center. Now, for the Plaza of the Dead, that is this. And I don't really know where to put it. I'm kind of tempted to just throw it up here somewhere. You know, in the kind of the middle of a big residential area. I guess we might as well. So let's bulldoze those guys. And I'll just throw the Plaza of the Dead right there. That's really ominous. You just drive towards it. It's like, oh, look at that. The Plaza of the Dead right in the middle of the suburb. That's just ridiculous. Oh my. I think we'll keep it anyway. And what I'll do is put just a little bit of like a gravel path going around it. So it kind of looks like just a weird decision to have this this plaza here. And then some trees, obviously, to hide my hideous gravel path. So we'll do a bit of that, we'll do a bit of that. Get some of the bigger trees in there as well. Just like that. And a few on that side as well. Alright. So I think that's alright. Kind of does the job. Looks really dumb. But again, at this point, we're just trying to get the fusion reactor, which we have! It costs $1 million! And it's 8,000 per week for upkeep. It's ridiculous. But it will fit in that space perfectly. Which is what we want. Interestingly, it will also fit in that space pretty well. It'll actually fit there, it goes there kind of nice and central, which I think is super important. So, what we're going to need to do is bulldoze you, and bulldoze you, bulldoze that, and then I think I want to plop it just there. Just like that. I know it looks a bit weird, just there on its own, but I like it. I really do. I think it's kind of cool. So we'll put ourselves a nice pathway just here. Going in a good old straight line. And just there as well. And then from the sides. And I guess that's all we really need, isn't it? That's the fusion power plant. Super expensive. Super, super expensive. But in terms of power, I mean, we are kind of okay for a while, so I don't think we have anything to worry about in the slightest. So with the fusion power plant in the city and functioning, I am going to leave it there for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you kind of for watching. This has been City Skylines. I almost said Sim City for some reason. I guess it's the really futuristic buildings sort of threw me off a little bit. This has been City Skylines and the Vanilla Let's Play Part 24. And I shall see you next time. Bye-bye!